So you say you were taken prisoner in Kursk?
In Gornal.
In Kursk region?
In Gornal.
Where?
In Gornal, Gornal.
Garnal.
It's near Guevo, Plekhovo, Kurilovka, somewhere there.
Uh-huh. So you're not an occupier then?
No.
But you served in the army of the occupiers.
Agree. Well, I had a motive for it.
Which?
I was facing a prison sentence.
For what?
158 theft, stole $1,500.
Oh, dollars. Does anyone in your country keep dollars?
He was a German citizen.
There's some kind of international spy scandal here right now.
No, it's not a scandal.
And what was he doing there, a German citizen?
He lived, we didn't know that.
He had a business?
Yes, he had a business, a store.
You did the right thing by stealing. It's bad that you got caught in
Yes.
this case.
Well, to be honest,
No, I just say that in passing. Don't think that I'm seriously making a judgment right now. Everyone watching can make their own judgments. You see,
Yes.
we're recording on YouTube,
Of course,
there will be
of
a
course.
video.
yes.
They won't consent to the recording. So, well, basically you stole 1.5 south and then got caught.
Yes.
How did they found you?
I usually had a...
By AP?
No, the accomplices were very funny.
Well, go on, tell this story. I love these detective stories.
One of them, while everything was happening, sort of climbed into the fridge and took a bite of some sausage.
Russians, damn it.
And left a trace in the thing. They identified him by his sneakers.
Just took a bite
Took
and
a bite
put it
and
back?
put it back.
What a fool. Didn't he steal the toilet?
No, he didn't.
Why is that? How did he even come up with this idea to steal 1.5 thousand from a German? Well, rob a German.
We went there for wine.
Why exactly
There was wine. We knew that he sold wine.
Ah, he sells wine.
Typical story.
Yes.
This is such a moment. Well, then I was facing a prison sentence.
So you went for the wine. You broke down the door as
Through
expected.
the window.
Through the window.
Yes.
So the way in was kind of easy.
Yes.
You figured out that you can climb in through the window. Everything would have been fine. But the damn sausage stood in your way.
Something didn't go according to plan, they say.
How funny. Fine. And so, how did they offer you to go to war?
Well, I went to the inspectorate to the scene. They told me either you're facing 6 to 8 years, or there is an option that they would have locked us up for sure. There were no options. I saw they offered me to sign a 1-year contract. Not for long, I think I spent about 2 days consulting with my relatives. Well, I found out that... Well, I also asked around with people I knew who had been there, who had served in the SMO, returned with injuries. Well, I guess there weren't really any options. Either you understand, either spend 8 years in prison or a year.
No, I understand. I just want to tell you now, with the knowledge you have gained now, at this moment. What decision would you have made then?
I wouldn't have signed the contract.
Would you have signed it?
Not now.
Well, would you have signed it anyway?
No, not anymore.
What would you have done? You were facing...
Well, I would probably serve time. They say what happened there, what I saw...
Let's talk about what specifically changed your views. What happened next? Okay, you signed the contract. You signed the contract.
I signed the contract and went to the training ground. The training at the training ground lasted 2 weeks. They brought me to the unit and said there would be no training. Take up arms and join the fight. As we say, thrown in at the deep end.
I know.
That's why we went into battle further.
So where did you go into battle? Who went into battle? Can you tell the story in a creative way?
Yes, complete?
Yes.
Yes, of course, no problem. On May 13th, they gathered us. They said on May 11th...
What kind of unit is this?
8th 10th Marine Brigade.
Okay, continue.
They gathered us and told us that we would be going on a combat mission on May 13th. On a combat mission. Nothing will happen, just go in and get a foothold
When
as
was
usual.
this?
May 13th.
May 13th.
So, go in, get a foothold, nothing special, a regular task, everything is fine.
Wait, you say the same thing back when I came into your cell, right? When they
Yes.
took you. You're saying that by that time they had already announced that, like, the KURSK region...
Yes. We were told that the KURSK region was completely liberated. Vladimir Vladimirovich announced on television that it was completely liberated.
So what kind of mission are you going on then?
They say
Why get a foothold?
it is in the KURSK region on the border before the Ukrainian border. Sit in the dugout. So, well, as you can see,
Well, I realized something went wrong again.
something went wrong, yes. Well, once we set out, we walked there for 3 days to the point.
Why were you walking? There was no car?
We were dropped off. It was unsafe to drive further. And we completed the road on foot. We arrived at the point. We sat and sat. Then one of our guys who was wounded felt there wasn't enough space in the basement. That is, there was another point behind me. I'm telling it like it is. And it became cramped for them. So they decided to send the old man with shrapnel in his back. 55 years old. So, accordingly, the old man came to me. I was given the task to move forward to help. There is a...
Can you explain it again? There they went into some kind of basement. Who are these?
These were our people.
Okay.
They were wounded.
Okay.
They were wounded by the FPV.
Okay. They went in and it
Yes, it became cramped for them. That is, accordingly, people follow the road and people get hurt and they go no further. Some of them are left in the basement. And so, accordingly, some people there felt cramped. They are sending the old
What do
man.
you think about the saying Russians don't abandon their own?
What can I say? Well, I can't relate to that because Russia is my homeland first and foremost. My country.
I understand that.
We don't abandon our own, well, I don't know.
Well, the fact that they kicked out the old man.
In this regard, yes. It's not all of Russia, or all Russians, I would say. It's specific ones. You know how I was taught as a child. There is no bad nation, there are bad people. The contingent itself, I would say that all of them are like that.
Okay then, and did this old man come to you?
Yes, to my group. The group where I was...
How did you realize that you had this, So, he didn't know at all why he came to you?
No, he didn't know at all. He went to rebuild the Donetsk and Lugansk regions.
Well done, that's right. Everyone is going to rebuild and protect.
Well, he ended up there by some random chance, with a rifle in his hands.
In the trench. At best, in a trench. At worst, in a bloody assault. These are different things. No, that is, he comes to you because he simply has nowhere else to go, am I right?
Because he was kicked out of the basement.
He was kicked out of the basement.
Our people
That's it.
kicked him out.
What are you telling him?
We're given the task for moving with us so that he moves
Are
with
you
us.
on the radio?
Yes.
You explain the situation, he
He will
move
move with
you.
us. He is wounded. He moved with us. We began to approach the position. Well, as usual, because of this old man who could barely move, my route was, well, discovered by Ukrainian troops. Accordingly, a decision was made on your part to shoot at me with Baba Yaga. Drop, I was wounded. My arm, my entire left side was covered in shrapnel. So, the whole group died, as far as I know. Because when I raised my head after the attack, I saw that no one was moving. People's blood was flowing. I realized that I wouldn't be able to help myself. I started moving towards our position so that I could receive medical assistance. I started to climb up and heard one of the people, well, talking. I'm from Kubani, I understand a little Ukrainian. Well, and accordingly, They fired at us first. Halt. Who goes there? I was wounded, so I took off my bulletproof vest. I was covered in shrapnel. I dropped my weapon because it was torn apart. Well, I moved on my guys. Accordingly, later when I got up, they asked me who I was. Answered, guys, I'm one of you.
What a comedian you are, especially after these first two interviews. I don't know, if you haven't watched the interviews that were published before this one, also none of them have been published yet, but I understand that those will be published earlier. You understand how much energy I have already expended. And here is the comedian. That's why I laugh. It's really funny. Guys, I'm one of you.
And they say I'm one of you, yes? And they say, who are you exactly? I say, well, one of you. And I was wearing a striped shirt, a black and white one. They tell me you're the 82nd. I say not 82nd, and they started shooting at me. Are you Russian? I say Russian. Let's shoot. Still have bullet holes in my arm. You can touch it.
I believe.
For luck.
I believe there is no need for such luck. Happy Gilmore.
I say I'm wounded. Please don't shoot. Guys, what's wrong with you? Come here. I realized that I needed to move.
Go.
Yes.
You understand correctly.
Came up. I was tied up. Well then,
I see you were captured, and what about the rest of yours?
the group is dead.
How big was the group?
4 people.
Not much, but good.
1 got lost and was gone immediately. And 3 was me who walked. 2 is more precise. Turned around after all the drops. I look, there is no
I
one
understand
left.
that what you saw and experienced has probably changed your perspective on the necessity of signing such a contract.
Yes.
Why did Russia invade Ukraine? You understand that they invaded before we entered the Kursk region, Belgorod region, or any other region. There is not a single drone flew into Russian territory before the missiles flew into Ukraine. Not a single shell, not a single bullet, nothing at all.
I think it's because Donbass was bombed for 8 years.
Well,
Well, this is my personal opinion. Well, and most importantly, the reason we invaded there was because of the territory. Russia wanted more territory.
so was it because Donbass bombed for 8 years, or was it the
Well,
territory?
the 8 years during which Donbass was being bombed became the pretext to seize the territory.
Okay, look, if Donbass, actually the Lugansk and Donetsk regions, it's actually Ukrainian territory,
Yes.
right? Do you admit this?
Donbass and Lugansk?
Donetsk and Lugansk.
This
What
is
is
Russia.
Donbass? What is Donbass?
Donbass is the Donetsk region. It was part of Ukraine and is now part of Russia.
No, Donbass is a Donetsk called Basin,
Yeah?
part of
I didn't
which
know.
covered the Donetsk region, the Lugansk region, and even the Rostov region.
I didn't know, honestly.
It's good that you at least know that we bombed it for 8 years. That's what's important.
Well, our media is doing everything to
Yeah.
convey this to people.
Look, I've been talking to a completely adequate person all this time who seems to be fine and understands everything adequately, and even understand that there is such a thing as war propaganda, which in fact convinces you that everything was fine. And didn't you just happen to suspect that this very propaganda machine could feed you information about Ukraine bombing someone there just to mobilize you
It is quite possible.
as associated?
It is quite possible. Anything is possible.
I just don't know after two conversations like this, I don't want to start a third one. Honestly, it happens. We have a video there, almost a short one. This could also be short. But that video is short because there is a ton of information in it that can't be published yet. And it's kind of unfinished, you could say. Therefore, for those who read between the lines, you can also watch this video. I don't know, maybe the editor will edit, maybe splice. I'm saying you'll have to guess a lot about what's going on there. I'll just tell you one last thing. Look, if Russia stayed within its own country, which, as you know, is probably the largest in terms of territory, and at the same time has a certain population density,
Yes.
and just take a map, open it, and see what it's like. So, more people live in France and Germany than in Russia.
France and Germany together.
Yes, more. And if you take a map, then on this map, France and Germany will take up about the same amount of spaces on this table. Everything else will be Russia. Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
The same goes for Bangladesh, for example. Bangladesh alone has, I think, 180 million population. In Russia?
A million, I don't know.
Yes, so this should kind of give you an understanding of how much you have. How much land you have, how many resources you have, and how much of everything you have. If you just focused on all of that, so that your people could live decently, so they wouldn't have to steal wine from Germans. They were thinking about our Donbass, which was doing perfectly well before 2014. The fastest developing region in Ukraine, which is now destroyed, after they came to protect it. And every time someone tells you, you know, this is a mining region, right?
Yes.
Ask those who tell you about what was protected there. Has at least one new mine opened? Has at least one new mine opened there? Because it hasn't opened. As for the old ones, almost all of them are currently closed and flooded. The city of Bakhmut, which you call Artyomovsk among other cities, which was also a great city actually. It just doesn't exist anymore, like many other cities, after they came to protect it, sort of. And before 2014, before you came to protect it and we were supposedly bombing it, everything was fine there. So probably the reason all this happened, and that we were supposedly bombing it, was that the Russians invaded there. And yes, some people supported them. But if the Russians hadn't invaded, we would have sorted things out ourselves. Someone would have gone to jail. Of course.
Certainly.
But this is how it happens in any country. If any, I don't know who, Chinese invaded your territory. They would invade and occupy part of your territory. There would be people who would support
Whom?
them. Who would support the Chinese?
Certainly.
Who would shout on camera,
course
finally,
there would
see,
be.
good job, well done. There would
Certainly.
be, just like there were here. But you yourselves would probably like to sort this out without the Chinese, right?
Certainly.
So, you are in fact in their place now. It's just that, I'm saying it again, there were two such rather difficult conversations. Already have to go, that's one. And two, you ended up in the Kursk region, in the end being captured. If you were in Lugansk or Donetsk, we would continue this conversation. Careful. Looks like I'll have to talk to you. Sit down.
Sit down.
Tentatively, the story you told is, of course, purely exclusive, but I'm not sure I want to listen to it. Sit properly. Drink water. Oh, no water. Okay, relax. I'm a journalist. My name is Vladimir. Nice sweatshirt.
Yulia, the
Where
company
did you get
sergeant
it?
major gave it to me when I was recruited.
Phew, damn. Let's go step by step in order.
Fine.
Do you voluntarily consent to the recording and publication of
Yes,
this
I give
interview?
my voluntary consent.
You will be shown on YouTube.
I understand. I understand.
Do you realize
I
this?
realize this.
Anything you say can be used against you.
Yes. I realize.
But this is no longer on our
I
side.
understand.
You will return there, you know?
Yes.
Want to?
I want to go home.
I have doubts about going home, of course. Do you know why I have doubts?
Why?
Have you signed the contract?
Yes.
For how long?
For a year.
How long do you fight?
fight. They trained us for a week, give or take, and I fought in the forest belt for another week.
What month is this?
It was May.
May of this year?
Yes.
Did you fight for a month and a half along with the captivity?
Along with the captivity?
Well, yes.
Well, somewhere around, yes, maybe even more than a month was in captivity.
Okay, let there be 2. You'll come back home in a month and you still have 9 months of contract left. I'm not even talking about the fact that they are in principle permanent, but
Yes.
in fact in specifics. 9 months. Do you think you'll be sent home?
9 months. They generally don't send people and very rarely give them vacations.
Are you going to fight again?
Well, most likely I will have to, but I wouldn't want to take up arms. I would like to be a medic somewhere.
More likely. A medic.
No, I'll most likely assault again.
Will you assault again?
Yes, most likely they will force me.
Your situation, to put it briefly, is as follows. You were captured and then your people told you that you would fight for us.
Yes.
They asked you
Yes.
if you would fight for us. You say, like, yes?
At first I say that I don't want to kill people, then I say that I will fight, but I generally thought that they would take me as a medic in Ukraine.
Yeah.
As I understand it, they didn't want me to be a medic, they took me to the training ground and I shot.
So, well, you were captured. In captivity, you were offered to fight for us.
Yes.
Why did they make you such an offer in the first
Because
place?
I surrendered to the drone myself and the commander came to me while I was still lying in the basement.
They decided that you were conscious. Well, if you surrendered voluntarily, then you're considered conscious. You probably
I
said it yourself
actually
that
thought that maybe I could leave Ukraine for other countries.
yes, that is, you are smarter than you seem or more cunning
Yes,
than
possible.
you seem. You're acting like such an innocent half-wit,
Maybe.
but in fact, you formulated a plan in your head about how you would
Yes.
get out.
Yes, I didn't want to fight for either Ukraine or Russia.
Well, you see. Accordingly, they accepted you, they even took you to the training ground, they gave you, obviously, our uniform, so you even went to the shooting range.
Yes,
How long did you stay there?
about a month.
About a month. And where and how were you supposed to dig
I
trenches?
lived in a house basically with the rest of the Ukrainian soldiers and I dug trenches for them to train.
And then, digging these trenches, you were already a free man.
I was trusted freely so I could have hypothetically taken a rifle, gone in and shot everyone, but I didn't want to kill anyone.
Yeah. And that's when you decided to run away. Where did you run to?
I ran across a railroad to the south. There was a railroad there. They saw that I would most likely run east back there to the Russian side. And I ran to the west. I ran south, then west. I walked through the forest for 8 days. And then it turns out then I crossed the railroad again to the north. Having passed, that is, here like this, I passed from the house to the south, then like this to the west, and then I came back to the railway. I went up the road to the north, and I went to the houses. There, basically, I asked a Ukrainian resident for food, and I said that I was a refugee from Donetsk, from Novolenivka, and that my house exploded, that is, it was bombed, and he gave me food, and I went, and he told me, I asked him,
This is exactly the direction in which you fought, Novolenivka, right?
Novolenivka has already been captured, it had been captured a long time ago, I hadn't fought yet. And I tell that guy, like, I don't have money, how long will it take to get to Poland? He says it'll take you half a year to walk to Poland, you'd be better off taking a commuter train and getting there. I don't have any money. He says ride without a ticket, and then I realized yes, I can ride without a ticket. And I went back to the railway. I saw the Kozachi station. I got off at Kozachi station and went to Sinelnikovo
Have you
1.
boarded a train without conductors?
There is a conductor, but I told her that I'm a refugee, that I can't pay because,
She just walks around the carriage checking
Yes.
everyone's tickets. You say that, and
she took pity on me.
this is by the way of saying that the Russian language is supposedly being oppressed here. That's
Yes.
what they say there, right? It's bad that they oppress. Because if everyone were aware that, at least when dealing with public officials, and that public officials themselves accordingly should communicate in Ukrainian, then we could easily identify people like him. He wouldn't have passed this basic test. Could you explain in Ukrainian why you don't have tickets?
I didn't have tickets because I'm a refugee. Refugee.
You were taught Ukrainian.
I understand a little, but
Did they speak Ukrainian to you in unit?
yes.
Listen, come on, tell me the story quickly because yours is already really long. So, after you went out to Sinelnikova 1,
Yes,
right?
I went out to Sinelnikova 1, spent the night in a house, went to the market and asked for a job. I was looking for a job, not some kind of alms. And they just gave me 90 hryvnia. Then I went, sat down and rode to Dnipro. There I was stopped by the police. Basically, the police checked me. I'm like I was born in 2007. Well, so to speak, so that they would think that I was underage and so that they wouldn't bother me. And so they quickly took a photo of me, name, surname, and left. And I went to the station.
What did they ask you anyway?
Like, where are you from and so on. And I said a refugee from Novolenivka in the Voznetsky region. They just took a picture of me with their phone.
They say there were no documents.
I said I have no documents because the house exploded. And that's all.
And they let you go?
Yes, they let me go.
What was your first and last name? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Just say the different date of birth, 29th of December 2007.
Stupid. And yet you're good at standing with radars catching people for going just 1 kilometer over the speed limit. You should stick these radars up your ass. There's an orc running around Ukraine just like that. All you can do is take a picture of him. Continue.
I got on and went to Kryvyi Rih because I thought Kryvyi Rih was in the west. And there is the south of Zaporizhia. Accordingly, I went in the wrong direction. There I talked to some grandmother. She gave me 500 hryvnia for the road. I tell her the same thing. This is the situation. I didn't ask for money. She gave it to me herself. I didn't really ask anyone for money. People gave it to me themselves because they saw that I was some kind of young guy. This is the situation. The grandmother simply gave me money themselves. I didn't ask anyone. After Sinelnikova 1, they gave alms themselves, and then I got to...
You came up, started talking, and talked about your
yes,
situation.
that's what happened, but I didn't ask for alms or to give me money. They gave it themselves. They gave me 500 hryvnias then, and...
I see. You found an approach to swindling money from people.
yes. I reached Kryvyi Rih. There I realized that I had gone the wrong way and went back to Pyatikhatki. There I met a gypsy. He spoke Hungarian. He said that he needs to get to Lviv. He wants to cross the border into Hungary and go to Austria and work there on a construction site. I asked him if I could go with you. He said, yes, of course, let's go together. And I went with him to Pyatikhatki.
Again, by electric trains.
Yes.
That is, there you already understood that it is possible.
I bought tickets.
And with the money they gave you, you could even buy yourself a ticket.
Yes. To avoid any complaints from the conductors.
Well, you don't require any documents when purchasing
No,
the
you
ticket.
don't require it.
Yes. Continue.
I went with him to Pятихатki, then we reached Znamenka, but it was difficult for me to explain to him that we needed to get to the west, that is where the sun set. I told him we were going where the sun set, that is to the west, but he didn't understand what a compass was, and I tried to explain it to him, and he began to cry because he would not have time to get to Lviv in a day. Because we travel by commuter trains, not in a sleeper carriage, so to speak, because there you'd already need documents. And we travel by electric trains. And he started to cry because of this. He said that his grandmother died. He tells me how can I get to Lviv and so on. And that's all. And I realized that we wouldn't get there together. Then he started to extort money from me. I said I won't give you money, you will deceive me. You'll get on the bus now and go to Lviv.
Continue.
So I then got on in Znamenka and traveled toward Mironivka, and there I was met by a supper.
What supper?
Anyway, he came up to me and showed me his ID. He came over and said, oh, I got into the right carriage. He comes up to me and sits down like this. I'm sitting here and he stretched out his leg like this and says I got into the carriage I needed. Then put his leg like that and wouldn't let me out. He says, here I can show you my ID. He shows me that he's a combat veteran. And he says, can you show me your documents? That's what he said. He says, and now we're going to... I started to tell him my story. He asked me for the street. I can name the street in Novolenivka. He says, how can you not know it if you lived there? That's what he said. Then he just says, now we're going to the police station.
Why did he even talk to you?
Because I have a Buryat face.
Maybe our police officers should take some courses with a sapper, some kind of consultation, basically learning what questions to ask a person in order to figure things out, if they are lying or telling the truth. I don't know. That's all. The conversation is over.
Fine.
We won't call anywhere. Let them decide for themselves what to do with you. Name?
Name is Alexander.
Alexander. How old are you?
25 years old.
Alexander, 25 years old. Were you mobilized?
Yes.
When?
2022, September 29th.
September 29th. What did they say?
I just received a summons and call from the village council.
Did you understand where you were going?
Not really.
Not really, okay. When did you realize where you were?
Probably when the fighting had already begun.
When was this?
The fighting had already begun on January 23rd.
January 23rd. Where, what kind of military operations were
Mostly small tasks like equipment. The only thing I probably understood everything when the mortar was firing and the artillery, because the task involved only observation. More precisely, I don't know which specific settlements, because they didn't tell us or specify.
Do you know any locality?
No, only most likely the one in which I was taken prisoner.
Which?
Staromayersk.
How long did you fight?
Me, less than 6 months.
So you started participating in military operations in January, and when you were captured, month?
In 2023 on June 20th.
June. Well, yes, you fought for 6 months. What happened during this 6 months?
Half a year, mainly smaller tasks such as observation and evacuation of the sick and wounded.
How many wounded and sick you evacuated?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
What about dead?
Dead, well, not so many. There were more wounded.
More wounded.
Yeah.
At that moment, you were already thinking, why do you need all this? Why do you need this war? Why is it needed at all?
I guess I didn't even understand it, you could say. I was young and probably didn't have the right thoughts yet. Well, in fact, they explained to us that we were going to defend the DPR and LPR, that they were allegedly attacked.
But in reality?
Well, in fact, I don't even know. I didn't go into details exactly what and how.
Well, you could have been eaten by dogs in the fields.
Well, that realization was already there. Probably most likely when I was already in captivity, because I'm starting to understand it more.
That is, it only came to light in captivity. In short, according to you, there were
Yes,
no
there
military
weren't.
actions. Who knows what then? You were mobilized, you went, you didn't understand the damn thing, and even after 3 years in captivity, you still didn't understand the damn thing. What then? You come back, return, and then go fight again.
Well, there's no real desire to do
No?
that.
And who will ask you? Well, you will go. They'll
Well, if
send
they
you
say
off
so,
again.
then I'll have to.
Look, yes, obviously. Look, why does anyone need war? Putin announced what you call the SMO, right?
Yes.
The Russian army is invading Ukrainian territory, and not only Donetsk, Lugansk, other parts of Ukraine too. And he goes to Kiev, the capital, for what?
Probably for certain territories of yours or something.
Yes. Looks like an attempt to seize territory.
Well, this is an assumption. I don't even know how, because it's been a long time since I understood what was going on. Well,
It was right then when you were sent to... Yes, good afternoon. Vladimir, journalist from Ukraine. Do you know that your husband is in our captivity?
Yes, I do.
Because he has been in our captivity for a very long time. Why don't you take him?
How would I know?
Haven't you looked into it?
I have.
And what do they tell you?
Nothing.
Will you talk to him?
Yes.
Conversation is recorded for publication. What is the meaning of human life?
the meaning of life?
Yes.
To live? Just to live, I guess.
Just to live.
Well, it depends on how one lives. Some people work, live to survive, and all that stuff. Some people live, as they say, to rest and travel.
To rest, to travel.
Well, also to find love.
Find love. Okay.
Well, then life is all about war. War is everywhere. That's how I understand it. Because if you look at history, there's always been war. I went on, and it's still going on. To conquer territories and all that stuff. Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Probably so.
What is the population of Russia?
I think 150 million.
150 million.
This is on... I remember...
Who the hell knows? Let it be 150, 60, 20. It doesn't matter. Do you realize how big the territory of Russia is? These people could easily be settled in a quarter of Russia. Why does Russia need more territory?
I guess I didn't think about it, because I live in Russia myself. Lived more precisely.
Well, yes. You didn't think about it because you lived in Russia yourself. Could you have died?
I could.
For what? Well, for what?
Well, I don't know for what. I'm telling you, I didn't think about it. I just went like... I thought, that's all.
I realize that the meaning of life is to live.
Yes.
Yes. You went to war, you don't know why you're fighting. You could have died, but you don't know why. Right?
Yes.
It is some kind of cycle of
Yes,
life.
it's very... pointless.
Pointless.
Because here, well, you don't really control yourself.
A pointless life cycle and a pointless interview. That's all.